Parallel frequencies with just Blane and Coco and all the freaks out there. What's going on, freaks? What's up, Coco? How are you?
Happy St. Patty's Day. I personally do not celebrate St. Patty's Day, although I will celebrate Ireland. I am one of the snakes that was driven out of Ireland. So
Okay.
St. Patrick, not my favorite guy, but I do like to represent the snakes.
Now, see, I love St. Patty's Day because, as we know now, I've got a snake phobia. So Ireland would be my location that I would need to go and be snake free. Do they really not have snakes in Ireland?
Well, historically, we are talking about representing the order of the snakes. That was another word for the Druids, or one group of the Druids that were in Ireland at the time. So St. Patrick is credited with driving them out in the colonization of Christianity happening in Ireland at the time. So I actually don't know if they have legitimate snakes in Ireland. I'd have to check, like, what's the zoology of snakes in Ireland?
I wonder if we have any freaks in Ireland yet. If we've got freaks in Ireland, please let us know if you've got snakes over there.
I hope so.
If not, I'd be ready to go over there now.
Absolutely. We're coming.
Yeah.
Book us a flight. Let's go. I'm already halfway there.
But I did say I couldn't go to Ireland. Well, I couldn't go with Sheamus. Remember Sheamus, our wrestler with his wife, Isabella? They were going to France. We still may go. I don't know. Haven't heard back.
Yeah.
But I couldn't go to Ireland with Sheamus. I love St. Patty's Day. Oh, my gosh. So this morning, I hear chaos upstairs. It's 4:45 in the morning. And the kids had found where the leprechaun had come in and kind of messed up the house upstairs. So they went wild. But I'm thinking, man, could the leprechaun not have waited?
Why is the leprechaun up at 4:45 a.m.? Oh, no, my boys were already up, not quite that early, but early enough to check and see if each other had green pajamas so they could pinch each other before they got up for school. And I was like, you guys, it's early. Let's give everybody a chance to get their green on. Come on.
I don't have any green, I don't think. I got blue. I got the infamous or famous, whichever way you want to look at it, Dodger hat. I should have got a green Dodger hat. That'd have been cool. I could have had a St. Patty's Day, leprechaun, though.
I'm representing Celtic Ireland instead of St. Patrick. Let's say that.
Yeah, the leprechaun movies. That's what I'm going to have on my agenda today to be watching.
Jennifer Aniston.
Oh.
Classic.
We need to do a whole show on just Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, we could.
I love her.
We absolutely could. She's done some fantastic movies. I can't
believe
her range.
How long the Leprechaun franchise went. Still going. I mean, they got tons of Leprechaun in the Hood. I love Leprechaun in the Hood. That one to me. That's top tier. Let me tell you a crazy fact about the Leprechaun movie. Real quick. This is where politics did its job, all right? If you look in the Leprechaun credits, Dan Quayle, the vice president at the time, Dan Quayle is credited in the Leprechaun movie. You know why? Because he forced a work visa for Warwick Dunn to come over and do the movie because he couldn't get it.
Okay.
They couldn't. So I'm like, all right, I like that. So there's your little Leprechaun fact of the day that crossed into politics. Thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, Dan Quayle gets a shout out in the Leprechaun original movie.
He just wanted his name on some credits in some movie. He was just like, can I get my name in there? Can I just?
It's crazy.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing. What'd you do over the weekend? You mentioned something that I want to talk about because I know you did something crazy.
Crazy?
Wild. Weird.
Really wild. Really different.
Yeah.
No, it really wasn't that crazy and wild. We're talking about judging.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear about.
Yeah, I was asked, and I've been asked many times. I mean, over the few years that I have been graduated from high school, you must be at least 3 years graduated from high school, but asked to judge drama competitions here in Utah. So I've done some regional, done some state drama competitions. You get to go judge these high school kids in their the categories are individual monologues, dramatic monologues, humorous monologues, contemporary scenes, classical scenes. They do have a section of one act plays that they do judging, but that's on a separate day. I've never judged that, but so lots of, and pantomime. So got to see some amazing talent this weekend. It was fantastic. I got to go to Weber High with my dad. My dad was asked to judge as well, so we got to carpool together. Went up to Weber High, and we don't get to know who's from what school. Everything's anonymous. We don't know names, so they just send us to a classroom. They have a round of performances, and then we go to a second classroom, another round of performances. So they get to perform it 3 times for 3 different judges. I got to judge dramatic monologues.
Oh, okay.
Contemporary scenes and pantomime. And then I got to go to the medals round and judge classical scenes. And of all the years I've been doing this, including the years that I was in high school competing, I think this is some of the best talent I have ever seen. You guys watch out. If these kids go on to college scholarships, dramatic scholarships, and I don't know, make it all the way to New York and Broadway, or if they make it all the way to Hollywood, wherever their dreams are, they could do it. These kids were so dang talented. I was blown away. I'm over there giving like perfect scores all over the place. I had to rank them, but you could give perfect scores for all of them. And it made my job so hard. They were so good.
Well, maybe one of these kids will land a role in the next Leprechaun movie, just like a Jennifer Aniston. That'd be awesome.
I would not be surprised if I saw some of them. And I saw one scene, and this is probably a credit to the really creative drama teachers out there that are coaching these kids and helping them get ready for competition. But a classical scene, Much Ado About Nothing, where they played 3 FBI agents. They modernized the scene while keeping the language classical. So it was still qualified as a classical scene, but they were 3 FBI agents. They performed it fantastic. They even had a PowerPoint presentation that went along with it. They were, all 3 of them, hilarious. So if they end up listening to this, I just want them to know how much I appreciated it. It was so funny, but everybody did so good.
You remember their names? You can't say them, but do you remember names?
I don't have names. I don't even know what school they were from. Yeah, we don't get to know as judges, which is fine. That's all the keeping things fair. And, you don't judge them based on having something of technology included. Like, that's not fair, obviously. But I made sure to tell them, we just write feedback on the ballots. But I was like, you guys didn't even need the technology. It was an additional thing, and it was awesome. It totally added to the scene, but you didn't even need it. You guys carried the scene, your acting, your performance, your timing. It was polished. It was hilarious. I was laughing out loud the whole time. They did such an excellent job. I'm so proud of these kids.
That's incredible. That's really cool that you get to do that. I think that would be fun. I think I could do that. I think I could be a good judge of.
I think you could.
Yeah. And let me make a correction. Warwick Davis was the leprechaun. I don't know if I said his last name earlier, but Warwick Davis. He was Willow. Remember that? He played Willow too.
Yeah.
Can you believe that Willow?
We know that guy.
Willow and the leprechaun are the same. That's the same person. That's crazy. That's a big drastic change.
A little bit different. Yeah. Well, when you were saying my kids like to catch leprechauns, my kids yesterday were like, yeah, we're going to catch a leprechaun. We're going to kill him. And I was like, whoa. In our house, we respect the Fae.
Yeah.
You can catch him and you can give him an offering, and then you'll see if he can give you some gold. But we don't disrespect the Fae in our house, right?
You know what my little one did? We said, hey, do you want to set a trap and try to catch the leprechaun and all that? Now, he's playing 4D chess because he's 3 years old. He looks at us. He says, no. We said, okay, why? He said, because me want chocolate coins. And he thought if he trapped him, he ain't going to give him his coins. So he said, no, I don't want to trap him. We don't want to put a trap. I want me want my chocolate coins. My little one, he kind of talks like he's a leprechaun. Like he talks in third person.
He's a little leprechaun. You just got to get him in his little get up and then off he goes.
That's right. That's right. But happy St. Patty's Day to all out there who celebrate. Today is Tube Tuesday, though, and we got a special one today. We've had this one on the docket for a while.
Yes.
And wanted to talk about it because this show took the world by storm. It was one of those that was just kind of like, all right, it's out. Now the word of mouth is spreading. And we're talking about Ted Lasso on Apple TV Plus. This show, let me just tell you, too, I remember when it came out, I worked at Apple, and it came out 2020, COVID, crazy times. So I was there, and I remember being told part of my job at the time was, hey, you got to go binge watch this Ted Lasso show because we're going to have on, I believe it was Brett Goldstein, Nick Mohammed. We had those guys on. They play Roy, and then Nick Mohammed plays Nathan Shelley. But we had him on, and I had to go watch this. Had to, okay? And at that time, I didn't know what the show was.
Darn it.
But at the same time, I'm looking at like, oh my God, I got to go watch like 10 hours of a TV show that I've never heard of. I don't know what it is. Man, I was so hooked. Just as everybody else was. And I sat there and watched all season 1 in one sitting and was hooked. And I knew all about the show. I mean, this show on paper is a comedy. It's an American football coach goes to England, coaches a soccer team, and has no idea what he's doing. Sounds like a comedy of errors, like that's what it sounds like on paper. But what you get though is a low-key spiritual intervention. You got this Jason Sudeikis, Ted Lasso, and he's the nicest person that there is.
Unreal.
It's you know what it is? Ted Lasso is like if Mr. Rogers got dropped into a locker room full of trauma and testosterone. It's authentic. Jason Sudeikis plays it authentically. And this show, when did this show hit your radar? Was it when it dropped, or was it a little bit later on?
No. It was sometime later on. I'm trying to remember if I binge watched the whole series, or maybe there was like the last season that has come out was coming out. So I had catch up to do for sure. I can't remember when it first came. And I didn't have access to Apple Plus until a couple years ago. So I've been catching up on all of the good shows. But this show had a sense of, I think, a new wave of television that we were all appreciating, which is, it can be hilarious. The characters are so well done. The writing is fantastic. So you're just entertained the entire time, but you're also so full of heart and soul that you are tearing up. You're feeling all the feelings. And I think Schitt's Creek is one that came into this genre. Like, we are here for it. We're ready to feel something and have it not be segmented into these shows are for feeling things and these shows are for laughing. And they're goofy and silly and very surface level. But to combine all of that and to have it be multi-layered like that, I think that's why people responded to it so well.
Let me put this question out there for the freaks and for you and for me. But when's the last time you saw a character lead with kindness and it didn't feel fake? Because we've been trained to expect sarcasm, edge, some sort of an ego. Ted doesn't have any of that. He walks in like, nah, I'm going to believe in people until it physically makes you uncomfortable. That's kind of what it feels like. But when is the last time you saw somebody, a character like this in a show? You got one off in your head?
I would have to actually do some digging to think about that. Leading with kindness. Bob Ross?
Maybe Woody from Cheers, or Coach from Cheers. Maybe one of them two guys. Because they had their zingers and all that, but they were never trying to harm anybody, and it was always out of kindness. So I'm thinking maybe, but that's me just pulling two people out of the same show. I don't think it happens very often, though. That you've got this crazy dynamic. Let's talk about the real twist of the show, because it's not the fish out of water thing, not even the team dynamic. It's that kindness that Ted Lasso has becomes disruptive. And that's a weird thing to see too. And that's really the big twist of the whole show, is how kind he is disruptive to everything around him.
Yeah. Yeah. Because growth and taking a look at all of your, let's say, self-sabotaging patterns is uncomfortable. And this is where we get into a realm that I am very familiar with. And I love Ted Lasso, the series, but we're sticking with season 1 today. And so I love that you mentioned Ted doesn't have an ego, because I have on my social media on Prism Healing, I've kind of talked about this show before. I'm glad I get an opportunity today to talk about my theories that Ted Lasso represents the higher self, right? So if anybody's familiar with interfamily systems in psychology, and that's kind of a new term, it's a lot of the mixed with the work that I do in spicy psychology, or witch psychology, if you will.
Yeah.
If Ted Lasso is your higher self, like, let's just imagine he's the coach, but he absolutely takes into consideration every other part of the system. And every other part can be represented in all of these great characters, which are multidimensional, but you don't see a lot of it in season 1 until the influence of Ted Lasso, or the higher self, starts bringing them together. So you see Roy Kent representing anger, representing kind of parts of the ego where, what doesn't really want to let go of the fact that he might be close to retirement. It might be time for him to hang it up, and he's not quite ready to, he's having like this identity crisis. You have Rebecca, who's representing this jealousy and this grief and this self-sabotage, the prickly nature that she shows. She's insecure. She's stressed. You have Jamie. If anyone represents ego in this cast,
yeah,
wouldn't you think it would be Jamie Tart?
Yes.
He's like, I'm it. I'm everything. You guys, the perfectionism that he's seeking. You have Higgins, blind loyalty. Keely is a little bit vanity, and she's defined by her relationships to others rather than finding her own self-worth. And then there's like Sam, who's just genuine and romantic, and oh my gosh, and Danny Roja. What do you think Danny Roja would represent in his character?
That's a good question.
Pure
too.
Joy.
Let's put that for the freaks. Yeah, but I think maybe joy, happiness, all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Childhood. I mean, he's kind of the inner child of the group, right? He's like the one that's like, I don't know what we're doing, but football is life.
Yeah, that's it right there. Inner child.
Pure enthusiasm, right?
Let's go through some of these characters. Hannah Waddingham played Rebecca, and she starts off as the villain, calculated, strategic. Ted doesn't fight with her, though. He kind of just does
wins her over.
Yeah, and stays kind. And that breaks her faster than any revenge plot could. So it takes her out of the villainness already. But we're, used to seeing winning mean dominating. And Ted wins by not playing that game at all with her.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
He removes the shame, which, going back to my theory, is the higher self. The higher self is without shame. So if you can remove shame from it, and that's what he does with the very first loss, is he's like, we're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate with cake. And everyone thinks that's real backwards, but that's because we're conditioned to believe that if we shame ourselves enough, we'll change.
Yes.
And he is running a new system in this group that's actually, if we remove shame and we celebrate everything, we will win more.
And let's be real for a second. That's not easy. Kindness in the real world gets mistaken for weakness. It gets taken advantage of. So watching Ted basically hold that line, it's inspiring, but it's also uncomfortable. That's what makes this show special.
Yeah.
And it really forces you to ask, am I actually a good person or just a reactive one? That's the big underlying question in it all. Roy Kent, you said it too. You were talking about Roy, and I already mentioned Brett Goldstein. Man, he's a class act. I'm going to tell you that right now. We had him on. I believe he even helped write some of the episodes maybe, and the character of Roy, Brett Goldstein wasn't even going to be in this. But it was He was the only one that could play this character, Roy. It's made for him.
Yeah. Yeah. And may I just say that there is a really good reason why Roy is so attractive to Keely, because he is attractive to a lot of the audience.
Yeah.
I'm speaking not just for myself, but he is equally masculine, protective, supportive, stands up for the little guy. You know, he's the one with the heart of gold doing the right thing, stands up for Nate. He's the first person to say, like, I don't like the way they're treating Nate. Something's got to happen. Of course, Ted manipulates that situation to let Roy take the lead on that. I love that. But you see him towards the end of season 1. He's also really vulnerable, sensitive, and willing to let that side of him be shown more. As Ted and Keely, they kind of bring that out in him. Yeah. And this scene where he says, she says something like, "Where were you last night?" And he was like, "It's private. I don't want to talk about it." And then he finally says, "I do yoga with 60-year-old ladies twice a week. And it helps my flexibility. And last night, you know, Betty or somebody was going through a divorce and had to talk until 2 a.m. And that's where I was." And I was like, listen, if any man out there thinks that makes him look weak, there's a reason women are looking for guys like that these days in our modern world. We're like, that's the guy I want to have my babies.
Yeah.
That guy, right?
I can see that. But he is very guarded. But he's loyal, but he's emotionally locked in a vault or something. You know, one of a kind character, though. And I know. Ted just kind of doesn't try to... Ted just lets Roy be Roy. He doesn't try to fix him. He just sees him. And sometimes that's all it really takes. And I mean, have you ever noticed how powerful it is when somebody actually sees you? Freaks, when somebody sees you, do you feel it? It's not your persona. It's not your highlight reel. It's you that they're seeing. That's an incredible feeling.
Yeah, because even if Roy is representing anger, right? Let's say in all the different parts of us that we can be, all these characters are all us. You don't want to shove anger down and act like it's a bad part of you. You want to embrace it, because Roy is the one kind of, he's got the temperature on the whole team. He's the one who's like, something's not right. Yep. I'm calling it out, right? There's a need not being met, which is exactly what anger does in our own bodies. When something comes up, it's like, oh, there's my Roy Kent. He's having it. We actually call it that in our household. I just have to say, my 11-year-old, we call his anger side Roy Kent. We're like, okay, so your Roy Kent is coming forward and he's mad, but let's ask him why. Let's ask him what he needs. Yeah, so it's just like respecting that part. Exactly like you said, Ted doesn't try to squash it. He's like, we need you.
Let's talk about the ego. Jamie Tart, you went into it a little bit. I think it's insecurity is why there's an ego, which most people, that's why they have such a large ego. It's very reflective of social media culture in a nutshell. That's what Jamie is. And he's the talent, though, too, you know? So it's like all of this rides on him. So I guess if you are put into that role, would you have an ego? Are you supposed to have the ego?
Yeah. I mean, I think that his character comes to a pivotal moment in I don't remember the name of the episode, but it was the curse episode is what I call it. When Jamie's asked to be invited. In fact, this is the episode right before he gets taken out of the team. Yeah. But he finally opens up and he's like, he says that he got into football because of his mom and because it was fun. And all she cared about was that he was happy. But when his dad got involved and then wanted him to be perfect, he responded with, you only just showed up in my life because I started being good at football. Well, then I'm going to be the best. Yeah. I'm going to show you that I'm even more tough. And he says, I think I lost myself somewhere along that because my mom wouldn't be proud of who I am now or what I'm doing now lately, I think he says. But I thought that was the absolute crux of Jamie. Like, the two parts of him that meet together. And when he starts leaning more into, I guess, his mom's side, the less of the perfectionism, he realized he can be just as talented. He can be just as good at football, but can also be a team member and have fun.
Yeah. Ted helps him. Ted's the one that sees this. And instead of exposing anything about Jamie that's, not going to keep him at that top level, he protects it. He doesn't expose him. He protects those kinds of things. That's leadership. Ted Lasso is showing true leadership in all its purest forms. All while Ted is going through the hardest stuff ever. Divorce, anxiety.
Yeah.
He's going through it. But he still holds himself together to keep everybody else at their strongest. And that's what's so inspiring about the whole show, and Jason Sudeikis in general, and Ted Lasso. It's beautiful. It's very well done. And it makes you think about yourself. It really does. Like you're saying, these characters are representative of other aspects. There's anger, there's ego, there's all these other things. We can find a little piece of us in probably all of these.
Yeah. And it helped me to visualize if my higher self is Ted Lasso and all my other parts are Roy Kent, Jamie Tart, a little bit of everybody, then I'm still going to make sure that Ted Lasso's in charge. Ted Lasso doesn't let somebody else just jump in and coach and take over. He's still like, all right, you have something to say. You have something to give. You have something to offer. I'm listening. I'm letting you be you. But ultimately, Ted Lasso is still the coach, and he's still in charge, and he's going to make the decisions while making sure everybody else feels seen and heard. And I think that if we visualize that within ourselves, or some version of that, yours can be whatever you want it to be. Maybe it's not a football coach. Maybe it's the queen. Maybe it's the head of a conference table. But all your different parts, and you at the head of the table, you get to be both respectful of all those parts and in charge.
Yeah. And he does it in his own special way. Like I said, he's going through it. He's not being kind and nice because his life is easy.
Yeah.
He's doing it because he chooses to do it anyway. So he's going to do it anyway. And that's why it comes across as so authentic is, sure, you've seen people who probably haven't been through enough. They've had it pretty easy. And they are kind to people, but they don't know the difference. But the fact that he's going through all these things and he's still able to bring the best out of people, that's a different frequency.
Yeah.
That's the one that you got to look at. If Ted is your higher self, you got to look at yourself and say, how can I be more like this? Authentically, real. Not force myself to be like that, because then guess what? People can see through that. Let's talk about, I mentioned it earlier, this show came out during COVID. The world was chaotic. It was divided. Everybody yelling, everybody picking sides. Vaccine, no vaccine, all this stuff going on. And this was one of those shows that came out, and it was like, hey, maybe we do need to just believe in each other a little more. you know? And it came in the form of this mustached guy who we fell in love with. But I do remember when it came out, and it was chaos. And it was the timing of this was great because it really did make people start reflecting on themselves and think, oh my gosh. I mean, we were way more reflective 2020. We were locked in our houses for 2 years, a year, 2 years, depending on where you live. So this was mine. When I was forced to watch this as for part of work, forced. That was. Aww. Yeah, right. Exactly. But it wasn't. But it was, and this is something that we still need today. And we're only talking about season 1. We did that by design because we want to break down the other seasons.
It's massively different each season, but also subtly so, right?
Yeah.
Massively, but subtly. Is that possible?
Sure.
I don't know, but it does.
This whole show could have been corny. It could have been super corny, but it didn't come across that way, and the show felt necessary. It felt like we needed this from Jason Sudeikis and everybody else involved. Let me ask this. This popped in my head. Because Ted Lasso's kindness isn't necessarily the soft kind of kindness. Do you think that it's actually the hardest thing to maintain, that kind of kindness that he's kind of given away?
Yeah, I think that for most of us, there's so many other parts. And that's why, Rebecca's kind of self-sabotaging part, I think
Yeah.
there is a part of us that, for whatever subconscious reasons, we do sabotage our own happiness and we sabotage our relationships. And sometimes we know we're doing it. We just don't know how to stop. We don't know
Yeah.
why we do it. We go, why did I just do that? Why was I so mean just then? And why did I react the way that I did? Maybe it's an outburst like Roy Kent would do, but for the most part, being able to do healing work means to witness that part of ourselves and understand ourselves a little bit better. To say, okay, I know I did that. Instead of having shame about it, I'm going to get curious. And that's another thing I want to bring up is that scene where Ted Lasso is doing the darts game and he mentions the quote, judgmental versus curious. If you'd gotten curious, you would have said, do you play a lot of darts, Ted? And then he wins against Rupert. But that's one of my favorite quotes, aside from Ted Lasso, because it's true. Curiosity and being judgmental are opposites. You don't have to get judgmental. You can get curious. Get curious about yourself. Why do I do the things that I do? Why do I react the way that I react? Maybe there's a need there that I'm not getting met, and I could get it met in a much less self-sabotaging way than to get angry and mean, but to respond the way my higher self would respond, which is the Ted Lasso way.
I think all the things you're talking about, like anger, that's easy. Ego is automatic, but patience and understanding and belief in people who haven't earned it yet, that's work. That's something you've got to actually tell yourself to do. Kind of like Ted Lasso. He's putting in the work. Sure, he could get angry. Sure, he could have an ego, but he doesn't. He blocks it out and believes in everybody around him.
Yeah, and takes accountability. Yeah, I mean, he does get snappy with Nate at one point when he's going through something real tough, real hard. And Nate's a little bit taken aback by it because he doesn't realize like what just happened. He's usually not like that. And he just yelled at me. And the next day he's like, I am so sorry that I was snappy at you. I'm so sorry and that goes a long way. Make mistakes all you want. Make mistakes, be mean, be snappy, whatever it is you do. But repairing it is far more important than being perfect.
Yeah. I think this show sticks with people because it's not just entertainment, highly entertaining, but it's not just that. It's a challenge. It's for you to look inside yourself and say, how can I be more like Ted Lasso? And that's, like I said, work. That's hard. It's not an easy thing to do. That's just kind of life.
Yeah.
It's life.
And I know we have to wrap it up soon. We're going to talk about Ted Lasso forever, but I want to ask you real quick about the most entertaining thing you think is in this movie. So what are the things that make you laugh the most in this show?
The in-between moments.
Yeah.
Like if nothing's going on, it's the little moments. And it's like, all right.
The banter and
the banter. The what other shows would call filler, I think there's no filler in this show. It's necessary, the whole thing. And it's consistent.
My favorites, and we haven't talked enough about this yet, so we will in season 2. We'll get to it. But Coach Beard. Coach Beard and Ted Lasso. I always say to my husband when we watch this show together, I go, these are relationship goals right here. Can you and I be a little bit more Ted Lasso and Coach Beard? Because if we were on the same frequency and could banter back and forth, those quips and those, what do you call that? And what is this? And I can't even remember any specific ones, but they always make me laugh. And their relationship is one of my favorite parts about this whole show.
Yeah. What's your final thoughts on this? On season 1?
I just want to challenge all of you freaks in the healing worlds, in the world I live, in the language that I speak. Let your Ted Lasso be more in charge.
Yeah.
And we could all improve the world.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I'll go ahead and give my final thoughts. And it goes back to that line, be curious, not judgmental. That's one of those lines that sneaks up on you into your life later on. Maybe you're in an argument. You're about to go off and suddenly you're like, wait, let me understand this first.
Yeah,
and
understand.
That's what great TV and great movies and great content, they do for you. They make you think about things later on. And that's the line that I want the freaks to take with them, Be curious, not judgmental. Get on that frequency. It's Parallel Frequencies with Just Blane and Coco. What do we got tomorrow coming up, Coco? What do we got? We got a big one, don't we?
Alien. Wistful Wednesday. We're going all the way back, Sigourney Weaver, and we're going to give her some credit for being one of the best female lead roles in a horror film.
Oh, yeah.
We're considering it a horror film.
The scariest horror film of all time. And I'm going to tell you why. I'll go into a rant tomorrow and tell you why. I'm just going to warn the freaks out there right now. If you don't like Alien, don't even listen tomorrow because the show could be about 6 hours long.
It's going to be a 30-minute homage. It's going to be just bowing down to the genius of it.
And we're not even going to get past Alien. We're not going to talk about Aliens or Alien 3 or Alien Romulus or any of the other ones, the video games, the coloring books. We're not going to talk about all that. We'll just keep it to the one movie with Sigourney Weaver, who is, just be here tomorrow, okay, freaks?
Yeah.
Parallel Frequencies with Just Blane and Coco. We'll see you on the other side.